Evening guys, James here from Axopar London Group. I'm down at our head office in Swanwick Marina this evening, where we're just going to give you a tour around a 2021 Axopar 28 cabin. Now we're running this boat around this evening to Ocean Village, ready for the South Coast Boat Show that's starting tomorrow and runs through to Sunday evening. Viewings are by appointment only, but if you'd like to come down and see what this is all about, we've still got some space in the diary, so please get in touch. I'll put contact details a bit further along in the video. So we often get asked what these boats are all about on the water, so we're going to bring you tonight a Seatrial to experience what the boat's like. And I'm just going to imagine now that we've arrived at the boat for the first time, talk you through a bit about how we would set the boat up ready for departure. So this particular one, at this size, I have to say they can be dry stacked or kept in the water. The owners of this boat took her on in September last year, brand new model. It was the first 21 hull that we had into the UK. Obviously with the shows cancelled at the end of last year, it was never formally launched properly into the UK, the 28 Mark III that we will go see to this evening. So this has got a few subtle changes over the last model, and I'm just going to spin it around so you can see her here in the water. So very kindly lent to us for the show this weekend. The owners started off in the dry stack, and so that is a possibility here at Swanwick, and using the boat so much in the end that they elected actually to take out a full-time permanent residence in the marina, just a little bit more ease of access to the boat, not having to ring up in advance when the spontaneity of nice weather allows you to jump in the car when you live just around the corner, come down and use the boat. So Mark III designs, we see some changes here in the roof structure. So we've now got this moulded in handrail all the way around the roof line, and they've added now the option for these transverse bars to allow you to carry paddle boards, blow up dinghies and what have you. A little bit easier for carrying all your toys. There's a couple of subtle changes around the back here. So we've now got this rubbing strake around the aft corners of the platform, just to give slightly better protection when departing the dock if you haven't quite got your angle departure right. And then the navigation equipment on the dashboard, you'll see now has changed to a Simrad unit. This particular boat electing to go with the single plotter. There is the option to go with twin surface mount units, as you see with this, or you can go with the glass bridge, which is a flushed in glass panel in that sort of centre recess area. We'll have a bit better look at that as we're going out this evening. So the boat here, this one's about £140,000 on the water including tax. It's a very, very typical UK spec, this one. So we've got a single 300 normally aspirated V8 on the back there, which is the engine of choice for a lot of these. They do build the boat as option with the twin 200s, and then for those wanting a bit more speed, there is the 350 horsepower inline six supercharged engine for a bit more speed. Depends on what your requirements are. So this is a Brabus line colour pack. So we've got this lovely grey hull, currently hidden by the pontoon, but we'll see that a bit when we get the drone up later. And we've got the grey roof on the top here. And then this is the Brabus line trim package, which is the black rails. We've got some Alcantara finishes inside, what have you. So it's a very, very cool looking boat. Very practical for use here in the UK, obviously with these big sliding doors in the side and the opening sunroof on the top. We've just taken the protective cover off the top, which fits on these poppers and gives a secondary layer, a bit more insulation for the cabin if you're sleeping on board, and also just keeps things like the seagull mess off if you're keeping the boat on a swinging mooring. You can see this now, the big moulded in deck drain roof come handrail here, which is the revision on the, say, the 21 spec models and beyond. We've still got the integrated toilet compartment in the front we'll have a look at. We're going to run tonight actually with our covers on the basis that it saves the cleaning on the boat in the morning, and you'll see how little spray we take over the top. It's going to be a bit fresh out there this evening, but it's a wonderful opportunity to show you how the boat all works. So we've been on board, we've turned our battery switches on. You see we have the optional shore power set up here with the lead, which is just using a battery charger mounted in the forward locker there to keep batteries topped up. And then from here we will pop this off, we'll start the engine up, and then these days you don't need to let them warm up as such. You can drop the lines off and you can be off and away in no time at all. Apart from the roof cover on the top here, I say you can run with all of these at full speed if you so wish. Otherwise you take them off and you've got the aft cabin. So this is a day cruiser aft cabin package with then the cushions on top as an option, and then the covers on top as well. So lots of options, you see them on the specs. It's fairly self-explanatory on the Axopar website how to spec these up, but if you're ever struggling, please pick the phone up to one of our team and they'll talk you through it in a bit more detail. So I'm joined this evening on board here with my lovely wife Kim, who is Mrs. Axopar here for London Group based in Southampton, and my little daughter here, Grace, who is also a very able seaman So very much a family boat. The owners of this boat actually have 2 kiddies themselves. It shows how well a boat like this can work when you want to get out on the weekends or after work for a blast around the Solent, what have you. So we're just going to start up and we'll check back and get out on the water. Okay, so if we just have a look down in the aft cabin here, these are the battery isolator switches. So we've already turned these on. You can see the 2 little green indications there. So we've got one for the engine and one for the service battery. And then we come up to the helm here. We've already dropped the engine down ready to start. So we just turn the ignition on and she fires into life. You'll note the kill cord is tucked down here on the dash, and we'll be wearing that when we're up and running. We've got the fly-by-wire throttle here, so everything's very easy. One touch in and out of gear. Say instantly warmed up, we don't need to worry about waiting on the dock anymore. It's electric hydraulic assist power steering there, so it's very, very easy from lock to lock. Bow thruster control here. Literally just hold 2 fingers on the panel there, and that now is ready to go. And the boat comes as well as standard with a remote control system as well, which is great if you're single-handed. You can put that around your neck and you've got control when you leave the helm of where your bow goes. So in terms of leaving the dock now, all we're going to do, we've got 2 lines to take off. So we've got just a single bow line up forward there, and then we've got a little short spring line. So we're just going to take this one off on here. It's not really doing anything tonight as we're on a nice quiet evening. Take this one off as well. So spring lines generally just stop the boat seesawing backwards and forwards. If we have a little look around us, we can see the winds coming from our port aft quarter, and looking on the top of the surface here, there's no real movement on the water surface, pretty much slack water. High tide this evening. So I'm just going to take my lines off. We'll get off the dock and then we sort all of this out when we're out and away. So literally just drop the line onto the deck there, make sure it's not going to get round around the propeller. Again, same here on the bow. So we just let the wind drift us off the dock. So we're now out in the middle in the fairway here. So we need to use a bit more steering compared to some of the other videos you've seen before using boats just with shaft drive, and you'll see now how quickly that boat comes round on the steering. And off we go. So we're just going to stow the lines here on the front, get our fenders put away. We've got a couple of lockers back in the aft corners of the boat, so we can tuck all of that away nicely, and we'll check back in a bit and talk you through a bit more of the boat. So beautiful evening here on the Handball. We've got about 25-minute run down to open water, 6 knot speed limit. See that engine's purring away nicely in the background. So just stowing our kit ready for departure. So we've got space in the back lockers here for some fenders. These owners have elected to go for fenders on both sides of the boat for their mooring, so we've got a couple of extra ones which we'll just tie off on the rails at the back here. Need to be careful with your Brabus line trim here, they're quite soft, the paint, so just make sure always that the ropes are clean and what have you. So I've just coiled these up into nice bunches so that they're ready to stow away in the locker, and you'll see up here in the front anchor locker's got room, so I've got another 4 fenders in here. So this is the optional EU anchor winch package, so we've got the controls there as well as up at the helm, a couple of little dog catches to undo there if you needed to deploy the anchor, and then it's released, and it's a nice stainless steel shape there on the front, so good holding in most types of bottom. We've got the upgrade on the AV package, so we've got the speakers here both on the foredeck, up on the stern, and also in the cabin, with the optional, and around on this side there's the optional subwoofer as well with an additional amplifier. Little toilet compartment here in the front, so we've got the freshwater sink, 45 litre freshwater tank for that. The optional electric toilet system with the push button flush here on the front. The breaker panel for all the electrics is tucked down in the corner there. Lots of owners, different ways of doing this, but I've seen hooks on the top here for life jackets and wet weather gear. So we've just got some kit for the boat show over the next couple of days to store away. Obviously mindful that everything on the boat has its own bespoke home, so we've taken the owner's gear off just for the boat show. So that shuts with a nice clonk, got a big waterproof seal on it. So you see, this is the Silvertex Premium pack here. So we've got the cushions, also with the return here on the starboard side, the drop down table, and this additional cushion here to give you the sunbed arrangement. So there's a second set of legs to turn this up to full height for seating here on the bow. But as you can see, just take my shoes off, it's a great place here. Sit out on the front, you've got loads of room, a couple of people sat up here. Feels very secure, you've got these handrails all around you, very safe if you've got your kids sitting up here while you're going slow. Obviously from the helm you can see everything that's going on around the boat at all times. Big selling point of the boats is the fact that the viz is absolutely fantastic on these, irrespective of what the weather's doing. They're so comfortable and reassuring to walk around. Got these lovely rails, feels very deep round the sides here. So if you've got your dogs with you, say you've got your young kids, you can clip them on with lifelines on the sides and they never feel like they're out of your sight even for a second when you're coming alongside for mooring up and what have you. So around the sides we've got the S-Tech decking package. You see the nice little detailing here for the Brabus line trim. This is the optional pull-out shower, so it's a whale twist cold water shower linked into that freshwater system. Removable half Denson pole here, and then in the lockers on the back, this particular boat has got the cool box element here to give you a double up for the fridge capacity. Obviously got the option underneath the seat inside. Over on this starboard side, it's just a full deck locker. Up top, so this is an optional arrangement to take what could be a remote control spotlight on the plinth and a radar dome. So just using the boat locally, it isn't really needed for the typical sort of usage that an owner might want, but it can all be retrofitted. Say that normally a chart plotter and a VHF is sufficient for most owners in these local waters, and you can see that VHF aerial up top there as well. This is the optional ski frame, painted of course in the Brabus line black finish, just to give something, as in anything, just to hang on to when you're walking around the back here. There is now an option for an additional bathing ladder on this side with additional high handles, the standard one being tucked underneath the port side aft bathing platform. And that's pretty much it for out here. So we're just going to head, say, a bit further down the river. We'll talk you through the interior and then we'll get up and going and we'll get some running shots with the drone. So just cruising down the river here, we'll have a look around the interior before we get going. The advantage of having this cabin layout rather than the T-top is obviously the ability to have 6 seats on the interior. So we've got a helm and co-pilot seat here in the forward, and then we've got a lovely big bench seat at the back. This is the lift up area, which you will have seen earlier in the video, access down into the aft cabin. But obviously now in sort of travel mode, we've got this lovely big bench seat. You can see the lovely panoramic glass windows here, allowing us full visibility all the way round. If we just come in now and have a little better look at the helm, you can see now the space if you were to ever add that second 12-inch Simrad Go plotter. Lovely little bank of switches here, it's all LED lit for the various lights, what have you. The boat's fitted with the optional Webasto air-top heating system, so this is the control for it. There's a separate little diesel tank and that'll run for about 48 hours non-stop if you need it to. We've got vents up in the ceiling here and also down low level in the cabin here. You can see down the back there, gets the boat nice and toasty to use all year round. Then on the front, so this is the AV head unit, also controllable through the plotter system. We've got the DSC VHF here, which is also an AIS receiver, and then the trim tab system with the joysticks, which we'll have a play with this evening to see how that works. Part of the Brabus line trim, you see the nice embossed badges here done in the Alcantara on the head handle and also on the steering wheel here, which is a tilt unit, so we can push the button here and we can rotate the steering wheel into a number of different positions to get nice and comfy. See, obviously in a seated position here we've got great visibility, and down on the seat here this base lifts up to give you more space on the floor here, and also then somewhere to sort of put your feet up on the bars here, and suddenly we're up high if you need a little bit more visibility when the nose is up and running. You can see we've got windscreen wipers with washers tucked up under the ceiling there, and the button here, which is just very straightforward, opens up the roof here, so if you want to get that wind in the hair feel, so it's in lovely May weekend here. Touch of the button and the boat is now a convertible unit, giving you best of both worlds. So that gives you a vast opening up top here. We could still shut the doors and that would still give us some wind protection, but still allow you to feel like you're an open boat running. Just come outside, you can see how that looks. So it stacks back here. So we just got a few minutes more at low speed. Once we're at the bottom of the river here, we can get going and we'll see what the boat's like out at sea. So we've reached the bottom of the river and we're just going to run the boat up to planing speed now. So you can see, currently got the doors shut, the roof shut, and the three of us very socially inside here. There's space to squeeze three of us on the four forward seats. So we've got the kill cord clipped on, obviously down here, in case anything untoward should happen, and literally just ease the throttle forward. You can see big, normally aspirated V8 engine, lots of torque. Boat comes out of the water very quickly. You can see that speed climbing, so speed's here on the top right of the chart plotter. We're straight up to a fast upper 20s cruise speed. Very comfortable, boat's still pretty quiet. See what the difference is like if I open the door now. Get a little bit more wind noise, but still not too untoward. Lovely wake shot there behind us. Haven't used any engine trim or trim tabs at all at the moment. The engine is fully trimmed in. And what you'll see as we bring the trim up on the stick here, we can increase the speed. Still very quiet, very easy for us to have a conversation here, and we're just going to stick the boat into a few turns just so you can feel what the handling's like here. Don't want to get the boat too salty before the boat show tomorrow. See, grips very well. They're a twin step hull. Boat runs about 42 knots flat out with a single 300 engine on it. You can see we're not losing really any speed in the turns here, still running over 33 knots, very comfortable. And we'll just show you what she's like in a tight turn here. So engine trimmed in all the way. We stick it into a turn here at 36 knots. Round she comes. Lots of grip on that hull. Still very much on the plane, not really losing any speed. We just unwind from the turn and you'll see that speed pick up straight away, and we'll be off back up into the mid-30s in no time at all. We'll just open the roof so you can see what that's like. To get a bit more of a flavour of an open boat feel, so you can just see it opening up above us here. We'll just open the side doors here now, get a bit more of a feel of what the boat's like at a cruise speed. In the more 20 knot range. We got a very open boat feel all of a sudden, so very easy to use. Definitely an easy upsell to go for the electric roof option on the boat. Just allows you to get the best of both worlds in terms of the way our weather changes at the drop of a hat. So we're just going to come back off the plane now. You'll see as we let the boat sink back into the water. Drops off in no time at all. You just see we don't want to flood the bathing platform, so we're just going to ease off the throttle gently, and we're going to get the drone out and we'll just do some lovely running shots that we'll share with you when we check back. So here we are with the boat up and running at planing speed. We're doing around 20 knots in this shot, which is a little bit less than I'd like to see as a typical cruise speed. Unfortunately fighting a headwind with the drone this evening, and it couldn't keep up much beyond this. Typically I'd run this boat around 30 to 35 knots as a cruise speed when conditions allow, burning around 30 to 35 litres an hour. We have a 280 litre fuel tank on board, which gives us a good solid range of a couple of hundred miles, which is more than capable of getting you across the Channel Islands, etc. As you can see at the end of the shot here, just bringing the drone in, Axopars are all about adventure and family fun on the water, so just an ideal opportunity to have a little close-up. And we're away again just to enjoy the profile of the boat before heading back on board for a further look around. So here we are bringing the drone back into land. Just as with a helicopter or any moving aircraft, much easier to do this with the boat underway rather than static. Then you don't have problems with tide, etc., and you can compensate on the controls. Obviously you have to be very wary doing this. I've got many thousands of hours flying over water, so quite comfortable taking the drone out of the sky into my hands here. As you can see, back safely on board, a successful flight completed. So we got the drone back safely on board, and we're just at the top of Southampton Water here. This is going into the slow speed zone into Ocean Village. We're just going to run the boat back up to planing speed again. Enjoy the last of the sunshine here. So next time we'll check back in just as we're coming into the marina. We'll get the boat tied up alongside, put her to bed ready for the show tomorrow, and that'll be the end of our Axopar Adventure. Speak to you in a bit. So we've arrived. Here we are, berth 47 in the show, all safely tied up. So we're just going to put the boat to bed for this evening. If you'd like to come down to the show over the next 3 days, please get in touch with Kim here, say from Axopar London. Kim, do you just want to give your contact details, how people can get hold of you here?
So with the show, with COVID guidelines, we are by appointment only. You can go on to the show website, which is either by type in South Coast Boat Show or on the MDL website. There you can book your appointment and it will give you all the guidelines. Should you want to get hold of me, you can call me on the mobile, which is 07872 680 935.
There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that with us this evening, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.